Explaining a past event is something we often do in our daily conversation. Anything that is completed, that is over, depending upon what context of time, is referred to as past tense. Today, in our conversational practice, in our masterclass of tenses, we are about to delve into past tense, or rather simple past tense, okay, and other past tenses. There are four in all, and we will understand the positive statement application of the same. So let's get into the master class for tenses pertaining to past tense. What you are about to learn is not simply the rules around tenses pertaining to past tense positive statement, but in fact, I will also explain the implications in conversation, because it's very important to understand the practical implication of tenses or conversation. The interesting part about English is, or the grammar rules are, that the rules are like actually formula. Once you learn the formula, you just have to know maximum vocabulary words so that you can apply it to the same formula and you can convey the thought which is going on in your mind. So let us understand the different past tenses and how basically you can apply it in conversation. First up, we will learn simple past tense. Simple past tense essentially uses the second form of the verb. In English, whenever you're constructing a sentence and there is an action word involved, action word which is happening, any action which has happened, you basically follow this structure of sentence. First, you will say the person who is doing the action. You will start with that. That person is known as the subject, followed by the second form of the verb for simple past tense, followed by the object on which the action is happening. Before we get into the sentence rule or the sentence construction, let's understand what is the second form of the verb. In verbs, whenever there is an action word involved, there are these many forms. V1 is the first form of the verb. Let's take the example of the word eat. So eat is the V1 form. The second form of the verb is V2 form, or the second form of the verb, which is also known as the past form. That is ate. In the case of eat, it is ate. The third form of the verb is known as the past participle form, or V3 form, which is, in the case of eat, eaten. And then we have the present participle form of the verb. The present participle form is also called the ing form, which is eating. In the case of eat, it is eating. So the things to observe here is that you can see that in this particular example, each form of the verb is different from another. But this is not always the case, okay? Sometimes we have all three forms similar, and then you have the ing form. Take the example of the verb cut. So you have it as cut, 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 V1, V2, V3, followed by cutting as the ing form. Let's take the example of another verb, say shut. Again, you have shut as V1, shut as V2, shut as V3, and the ing form as shutting. Whereas there will be instances where V2 and V3 will be similar, mostly when the past is formed with D or ED. Take the example of cook, the action word cook. Cook, cooked. Again, V3 is similar to V2, so cooked and cooking. If I give you one more example, laugh, laughed, laughed, and laughing. Okay, so here you can see multiple variants. One more example I would like to share, where all the formats are not different, but two are similar, but they are not V2 and V3. They are V1 and V3. For example, run, ran, run, and running. Run being the first form, ran being the second form, run being the third form, and running being the ing form. What do we learn through this explanation? Basically, we have to put the effort to learn the multiple forms of any particular verb, because if we don't know the forms, we will not be able to apply it as per the rule. So for instance, if I want to say that Raj bhag kar gaya, okay, ghar tak. So I am trying to say that Raj has completed the activity of running to his house. Now here the rule is I have to use the V2 form. But if I don't know that ran is the V2 form of run, I know the rule but I don't know how to apply it and say it. The sentence is Raj ran to his home, or Raj ran to his house. Okay. Here the interesting part was that if I didn't know the V2 form, I will never be able to construct the sentence. Now that we have understood the importance of learning V1, V2, V3 and ing forms, okay, let's get back to our topic for today, that is past tense. The easiest way to speak on a completed activity, be it something you completed years ago or be it something you completed moments earlier. So for example, right now, just a couple of seconds ago, I explained the different forms of verbs. So since I did it, you started with the sentence I. You started the sentence with the word I, followed by the second form of the verb explained. Okay. And what did I explain? That's the rest of the sentence. Different forms of the verbs. Okay. So this tells us a simple way to speak in the past. Suppose I had done this explanation in the last video a couple of months ago. Still I can use this format of V2. Since I explained, I start the sentence with I explained verbs in a previous video couple of months ago. So there you go. You can use it for an old event. You can use it for a recently completed event. Okay. So V2 is the easiest form or the easiest rule, simple past tense, to communicate in the past for a completed activity. The only condition is the activity should be completed. Okay, should not be a routine activity, because we learnt in the earlier lesson that routine is simple present tense. It should not be an ongoing activity. It should be a completed activity. Let's take some examples, and here I have given some examples of V1 and V2 form for you to understand how we can use simple past tense. For instance, if the V1 form of the verb is write and and the V2 form is wrote, I want to convey that Raj ne चिट्ठी लिखी अपनी माँ को. So I'll say Raj, and the V2 form wrote a letter to his mom. If my sentence is that Seema apne ghar gayi, so go, the second form being went. Since the activity is completed by Seema, I will say Seema went to her house. Okay. So there you go. If you know the various V2 forms, communicating in the past is so very easy. Like I said, don't forget, it can be used for an old event as well. For example, in my childhood, I often visited my native place. In my childhood, old event, I often visited in its second form. With this simple explanation of simple past tense, we can so easily communicate in the past. But the only condition is I should know the various forms of the verb. And the second form of the verb helps me express an event in the past. Be it completed seconds ago, or something I completed years ago or weeks ago. Doesn't matter. Simple past tense is the most useful rule for me to convey my event of the past. Next up, I would like to explain past continuous tense. Whenever I'm speaking about an event which was happening in the past, I know it sounds confusing. How could something happen in the past? So whenever we are talking about an event which is over, but it was happening in the past, ongoing in the past, it's continuous past tense. Okay? The verbs which tell us that it is past is was or were, depending on the subject. Let's take some examples. Okay. For example, if I'm telling about something that you were doing in the past, okay, I will say you were watching. Okay, because it is you, it picked up the helping verb word. So basically, I selects was as the helping verb. Similarly, he was, she was, it was. But whereas if we are talking about you, we, and they will take the helping verb were. Okay, clear with the combinations? Having said this, the simple rule is the main verb, whichever is the main verb, you will use it in the ing form, also known as the present participle form. So if I take the same example as before, I will say Raj was watching television when the bell rang, which means this activity was in progress when the other activity occurred. In the year 2010, I was studying in France. Okay, I was studying. That means that activity was in progress in that particular year. Again, you understand two events, how we are simultaneously expressing. Raj traveled to Jaipur as he was visiting his aunt. Again, two events happening simultaneously. One was ongoing in the past. Okay, so this explains how something can happen in the past yet be ongoing. Okay, so something as simple as I did not hear your call, I was watching television or I was cooking. Okay, so these are the instances of continuous past tense. Next up, we are going to concentrate on perfect past tense. Perfect past tense uses a very simple helping verb, had, and the only condition is use the third form of the verb. Again, you observe how important it is to know the different forms of the verbs, because if you want to convey something in perfect past tense and you don't know the third form of the verb, which is V3 or past participle, you will not be able to construct your sentence. So if we take the example of the verb eat, where the third form is eaten. Okay, remember we had done eat, ate, third form eaten, and ing form eating. But for perfect past tense, I need the third form, which goes as a combination with had. And if I say, I had eaten Golgappa when I traveled to Delhi in 2015. Now, this is an old event. Clearly, had plus V3 is a combination, perfect past tense is a combination which will help me convey something which has happened in the past, old event. Okay, and yes, it's very easy to understand and retain because had itself indicates something which was done way in the past. Okay, I had visited this temple in my childhood. I had learned cycling when I was 4 years old. Seema had visited her aunt when she was a kid. All of these are using had plus the V3 form. Now the catch here is if we don't know the V3 form. For example, you know, somebody visited my home, okay, and I was not available. They called me a couple of days later or a couple of weeks later and they expressed that, uh, they had rung the bell. Okay, so that person will say, I had rung the bell multiple times, but no one answered, which means it's an event which has happened in the past. But if I don't know that rung is the third form for ring, I will never be able to say this sentence correctly. So work on your verbs. That's very important to express the sentence correctly in grammar. I had rung the bell. Old event. Had plus V3. Which brings us to the last form of speaking in the past tense, which is perfect past continuous tense. Okay, or perfect continuous past tense. How can something be perfect as well as continuous? tense. We had done something similar in present also. Let's understand how it works in the past. Any reference to time period, something which happens across, years, even seconds, even months or weeks, okay, anything which spans a time duration, which started, happened for a while, and then got completed. Then you basically use perfect past continuous tense. Okay, so here the key factor is the time period reference. Okay, it started, some part, you know, has got done over that period of time, so it is perfect. Okay, and some part was ongoing during that period, so it is continuous. Okay, so that's the meaning of, the perfect continuous past tense. Let's take some examples to understand this better. Suppose Seema was learning a skill since her childhood, and just a couple of months ago, she decided to discontinue the program. So it had happened for a prolonged period, which means, and she's going to give that reference to that period, which means it has to reflect in her statement. She will say, I had been learning, okay, I had been learning Kathak since childhood. Okay, so had been and the ing form or the present participle form. So had been is the helping verb for I. Same thing if I'm using, suppose I'm talking about Seema, then it will be has been because she's third person singular. Seema had been learning Kathak since childhood. Seema had been learning Kathak since childhood indicates that Seema had started that, and definitely she is now no longer learning it, and that's why had been learning. Okay, if she had started it in her childhood and still continues to learn, then has been learning would come into picture. Okay, so this is the differentiating factor. Okay, and this is the explanation for perfect continuous past. So this was the explanation attached to perfect continuous past tense. The interesting part is that the activity spanned over a period of time and is now no longer going on. For example, that I had a phone call, I spoke to that person for 5 minutes, okay, and I'm expressing to that later on to someone else. I'll say, I had been speaking to him for 5 minutes. I had been speaking to him for 5 minutes. Okay, again here there's a time frame attached. That's why the use of perfect continuous past tense. If there is no time frame attached, I can still say I was speaking to him. Continuous past tense. But since I said for 5 minutes, perfect continuous past tense comes into play or into effect. Now let's look at some exercises or extracts to understand how we can test out what we learned. So next up is a test exercise which helps you understand your comprehension of the lesson that I just explained, and it helps you validate that you've understood clearly. Let's understand how to test out what we just learned in this lesson. I'll say a couple of sentences, okay? You have to tell me if it is accurate or inaccurate, okay? And if you get it wrong or right, I'm here to guide you further. So the first statement is, Mahesh flew to Mumbai for a wedding. Mahesh flew to Mumbai for a wedding. Yes, it's accurate simply because I'm using the second form or the V2 form of the verb fly, and I have used it in the past tense, okay, indicating that he's traveled. So instead of traveled, I can also say flew when he's taken a flight and he has gone. So Mahesh flew to Mumbai for a wedding means he has traveled to Mumbai. Okay. The next one, Rekha drawn a beautiful picture. Rekha drawn a beautiful picture. Think and tell me. Well, the answer is that this is incorrect because I cannot use the third form directly with the subject. It always has the presence of some helping verb. And here, if I'm trying to indicate that Rekha has completed the activity of drawing a beautiful picture, so I can simply say the second form, V2. Rekha drew a beautiful picture, simple past tense. Now look at the variations. If there was some indication that this is an old event, I can also say Rekha had plus V3, perfect past tense. Rekha had drawn a beautiful picture in her childhood. Okay, so I'm giving an indication that this is an old event by saying in her childhood. I can even say a couple of months ago, okay, or a couple of classes ago. In all of these events, since it's an old event, I can say had plus V3, perfect past tense. Okay, let's explore some more statements. I cooked a beautiful meal and waited for my guests to arrive. I cooked a beautiful meal and waited for my guests to arrive. Think which part of the statement is already completed so it's accurate, and which part is something that was in progress and should not have been, V2 should not have been used. Well, clearly the cooking activity was completed. I cooked a beautiful meal and was waiting for my guests to arrive. So the waiting activity was in progress, continuous past tense, while one part of the activity was over. I cooked a beautiful. Next up, let's take the example of another sentence. I left. I have been waiting for 2 hours. Now here I have given a time period reference. I indicated that I am no longer in that place. The waiting activity is over. So now tell me, I left. I have been waiting for over 2 hours. Something is not right about this. What's the missing piece of the puzzle? Well, you got it right. Since I have left from the place, the waiting activity is also over. So I had been waiting for over 2 hours, which means that perfect continuous past tense. Because there was a time period reference, I had to use perfect continuous past tense, but I left indicates that I'm no longer waiting. So I had been waiting, not I have been waiting. My suggestion to practice different forms of past is, first of all, understand the rule well. Know the different forms of any verb. That makes it easy to simply apply it as per the rule. Go through repeatedly each rule outlined in this lesson, and talking in the past becomes so damn simple if you simply focus on the rules outlined and you build your vocabulary by knowing multiple verbs. It's easier said than done and it needs practice. Something which we do every year, for instance, okay, is basically हम अपने केक पर जो कैंडल है वो बुझाते हैं. तो अगर हमें इसके 3 फॉर्म्स नहीं पता है, ब्लो, ब्लू, ब्लोन, ब्लोइंग, ओके, एंड आई एम ट्राइंग टू से दैट मैंने कैंडल बुझा दिए हैं थोड़े सेकेंड्स पहले, तो आई बेसिकली या कुछ समय पहले आई हैड ब्लोन द कैंडल्स, ओल्ड इवेंट, ओके, या कुछ देर पहले आई ब्लू द कैंडल्स, ओके. सो basically I have blown the candles भी use कर सकते हैं simple present tense, but since I'm talking about past exclusively in this lesson, I blew the candles is the apt one to use here. So if I don't know the word blew, फूंक मारने को blew past में कहते हैं, तो I'll never be able to convey this thought. So follow all the guidelines outlined here, and the best way to practice this, my recommendation is maintain a journal where you write down all the completed activities, okay. You can make a journal where daily you practice one form of the past. If you're talking about events that happen from morning to evening, you can simply use simple past tense. If you're talking about yesterday's events in your journal, you can use simple past tense. If you're talking about two events happening simultaneously where one got completed but one was in progress, you can use continuous past tense. You can also practice perfect past tense for something which got done years ago or months ago. You can also use perfect past continuous tense or practice it by writing about an event or writing about events which started at a certain point of time, went on for a period of time, and now no longer is in progress. So follow each rule, and the best way to practice this is probably journaling all the rules and sentences pertaining to it. It will also give you a very good grip on your knowledge of verbs because you will explore a wide range of action verbs. So that's my advice to practice the past tense. This was a master lesson on past tenses: simple past, continuous past, perfect past, and perfect continuous past tense. This gives you complete grip on how to speak positive statements using any of these tenses. Our focus remains on one area per lesson, and that is what I have tried to keep the focus on so that it becomes easy to learn and easy to apply. Watch out for the other master classes on tenses, and that's the only way to master this topic. Happy learning at English Excellence with Chaya.